Amazing day, man. What an amazing day. Are you guys doing good? What's up, Mr. Pedro Sauer? Is that the real Pedro Sauer that keeps popping in here, man? I am like mind blown if it is. Like, I am such a huge fan, man. I don't even know if you remember, you were the first person I ever did submission grappling with back in 1993. So happy if that's the real Pedro Sauer. Big, huge props to you joining in. Ruby Tuesday 23, what's up? English martial arts? No. So we got the UK in the house. All right, we're gonna have to have a debate on the efficacy of catch wrestling. DMAC 5411. Hello. Happy to see you. Guys, listen, throw me a hello in the chat. I would love to bring you on to talk, but unfortunately I'm on 3 different devices right now because I broadcast out to YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram, and Spotify. So what's up, Ruby Tuesday? Hello. Where are you from, buddy? I don't even know where half of everybody is at. Anyway, it is Christmas Eve. We're starting to get everybody rolling into the chat. Please share this. Let's get a chat going, talking. So today, I'm going to continue because yesterday I had to cut it short. I was so busy, but I wanted to come on real quick. It was literally probably my shortest podcast. So I'm basically doing a redo today. I want to talk about the ultimate painkiller. So those of you who tuned in yesterday already know what it is. What is the ultimate painkiller? And it will not kill you like the opioids or fentanyl or any of the painkillers that you get from pharmaceutical companies. That whole thing. You know, the whole thing that I want you guys to understand is the importance of time. Okay, with all of this. I'm going to show you something that I encourage all you guys to do, especially now that we're getting close to the year end. A lot of people like to do a year in review. They like to set new goals at the year point, all that kind of stuff, right? So I would like for you guys to see what I've created here. I don't know if you could see that. See this little grid? See that grid? I drew 12 lines by 12 lines. Okay? Every one of you do that. A 12 by 12 grid. This is gonna be great for you, man. I'm telling you, do it. A 12 by 12 grid. You see? What's up, Kaiju Wrecking Machine? Happy to see you, man. CWO, yeah, #1, dude. I love it. So did you guys all do this? Get a piece of paper, and I want you to see something here, okay? I want you to see something here. 12 by 12 lines, okay? Now, I went off of old data because I feel like I'm healthy, and so I'm going to give myself the benefit of the doubt. I'm an optimist. Did you know that the life expectancy was just reduced down? Fucked up. Actuarial tables reduced life expectancy down. So if you draw a 10 by 10 or a 12 by 12, 12 lines by 12 lines, you'll create a grid that has 100 in it. Okay? 100 little spaces. Right? Easy to see. See that? See that? So what I've done here is this is 100 little boxes. Down here, I boxed off from 77 on because I'll be dead. But based on actuarial, who knows? I could live to 100. I don't know. These could all be full. But I'm just going off of actuarial data right now because it's our best guess. It's an average. Again, it got reduced down to like 76, but I'm going to say, hey, I'm optimistic. I'm going to live to 77. I'll probably, honestly, if I were to go with my gut, I got 90 years. That's honestly my gut. But I just want, some of you guys aren't as healthy as me or health conscious or skeptical of the medical establishment. So I'm going to just assume you're going to die at 77 like everybody else. Okay. Like all the life insurance companies do, because they're betting money on this shit. So they want to be right. Now, I'm 49 now. I'm going to be 50. So then I filled up the rest of these grids. So this is where you're going to die. So that's it. And I filled up the rest of those. Those are the years I've lived. These blank spaces, that's the number of years I have left to get shit done. That's a little concerning, man. That's like less than 30 years. That's 27 years. 27 years. And I've already blown twice that in time. Do you understand what the importance of this is? I'm going to write down life left. Right? So that's the amount. Well, that's backwards on Instagram. But life left. That's how much I got. You can figure that out for yourself. Okay? I say that so that you stop procrastinating. Okay? Now, so how does this tie in with what is the ultimate painkiller? Okay? The ultimate painkiller is problem solving. And believe it or not, even the lethal Big Pharma bullshit, the opioid crisis that is partially responsible for the reduction in the life expectancy, by the way, those still solve a problem, albeit in a real shitty way. Killing you is not really solving the problem, unfortunately. So the ultimate painkiller is problem solving. Okay. And then there is a spectrum of efficacy with regards to killing pain. Now, the reason I say this is really truly your path to being able to make an impact, to make money, to create a legacy for yourself, is to solve a problem, right? Look at somebody like Jeff Bezos. Why is he one of the world's richest people? Okay. So everybody's like, Jeff Bezos, this, that. I don't know. I don't even really have much of an opinion. I don't know that much about him. But I can tell you this. That guy solved a massive problem. I'm old enough to remember a time before Amazon when you had to do a lot of your shopping that wasn't retail on-site shopping. You had to do it through catalogs and direct mail pieces. Okay. So you had a very limited selection. First of all, that's the first problem Bezos solved. I don't even know how many products are on Amazon. It's unbelievable. So almost unlimited product selection. Huge problem solved right there. Anything you need. And then the second thing is he's got it towards even like almost same day delivery. So this is better than retail. You have all the selection that you could ever dream of for the most part. And you have it for the most part delivered in the same day. That is, now remember why. So who gives a shit? Who gives a shit, man? Back in the day, you had to wait 6 weeks. Dude, do you understand? You don't got 6 weeks, dude. It's ticking. Your body's decay and mortality is real. Okay, so he's one of the world's richest guys because of doing that. Is that fair? So you need to solve problems. Now, what's so funny to me is that I feel that people don't understand problem solving. There's like mathematical problem solving. You understand? Things that could be done with like a computer and whatnot. Mathematical problem solving. That is mostly handled in the realm of computer science. Now, I mean, shit, even look at AI, what it can do. It can do crazy. I mean, unbelievable. We are on the precipice of some amazing shit with this AI and some scary stuff. I mean, it's the same with any kind of new technology like guns, nuclear energy, flight could be used to do commerce and have romantic trips, or planes could be used to bomb innocent people. Like, I mean, you understand? So there's a flip side to all these crazy technologies. Okay. But so beyond computer problem solving, there's also personal problem solving, right? That's usually considered in the domain of maybe like psychology because it has to do with the mind. Does that make sense? So computer problem solving is pretty amazing. Now it's just you can go to jasper.ai or OpenGPT, openai.com /chat, and you could query this AI that has the wisdom of the internet behind it. I mean, maybe we're on the precipice. Maybe it's Skynet, like from Terminator. Who knows, man? Let's hope that they got some fail safes. Like, you guys ever read any of those Android novels that Isaac Asimov put out? Guy was super good. What's up, Steve Prowl? What's up, Johnny Cologne? Happy to see you guys. So my point is your impact and your value to other people is that you being able to solve a problem for people. Hey, what's up, Marco? Merry Christmas to you in Canada, my friend. Happy to see you. Excited to see you this coming year, man. Tear it up. You guys are well on your way. Dude, scientific wrestling, by the way, solving a massive problem. So let's talk about that as a case study. I love using scientific wrestling as a case study in business because, I have multiple businesses. My wife and I have a software company. It solves problems for people. It does quite well at that. It has for decades. I have my business coaching, again, solving problems for people. But something is niched down as scientific wrestling. The whole reason why scientific wrestling exists. Hey, what's up, Noelle? Happy holidays to you. Good to see you. Can't wait to see you guys back in the wrestling room. You guys are some of my favorites. Excited to see you guys. What's up, D-Mac? Merry Christmas to you, man. Let's see. I'm probably misinterpreting things, but anyway, so the thing that you have to do, like, let's look at scientific wrestling for a moment, or some of the things. Like, look at the mace bell, right? The steel mace that I created that solves problems. Now, think of all the different people it solves problems for. First of all, there's so many people swinging the mace that normally would not have been really working out. That's huge because it's interesting. It's fun. It's different. It's actually a little more challenging. It engages the mind to control the swing and do the different variations, especially if these guys doing like the steel mace flow, the Leo Savage stuff, right? Mental and pulling people in that might not have normally been working out. That's one demographic. Then it brings in a demographic, people who are already doing crazy CrossFit, kettlebell, all that shit. Then it brings in another demographic with wrestlers who understand the importance of the mace bell for swinging, for strength in the grip and stability of the muscles and throwing, like using the shoulders in the right way, right? And McLeod K, gotta love novelty's ability to get people off the couch. That's part of it. But the thing is it, I mean, it is novel to a lot of people, but it's also been around as a modality of training for a long time, right? So what I did is I made a style of training in India known as Vyayam, which is the stuff done in the Akara, the traditional physical training done in there. Again, I got turned on to it from one of my mentors, Carl Gotch, legendary guy. But I took it another step and made it available to everybody because it wasn't available to everybody. Now it is, right? So that's one problem solving. That's the mace bell. Scientific wrestling. Everybody is doing, by and large, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. The market for Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is huge. I look at somebody like Gracie Barra as a business. They're doing millions of dollars a year, okay? Millions of dollars every year revenue. What that tells me, it's to me, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, as great as it is, I have nothing but respect for it. I don't do it. I've dabbled in it. I've played with it for years. Like I said, Pedro Sauer was my first entry into it. I remember wrestling him, and I didn't know what I was doing, and he would set me up. Same thing happened with Kiseka Munez, Ricardo Miguel, all these guys back in the day that I was able to train with in the jiu-jitsu, Carly Gracie. But what it tells me is that the market's very saturated. I could drive and literally, or if I do my on Google, I say find jiu-jitsu near me or whatever. There's a ton of them now. When I started in 93, That didn't exist. There was none. Not a zero in the state of Colorado. We had to fly Pedro Sauer in from Salt Lake. That's what we did to solve that problem. People wanted them to learn this martial art for fitness, self-defense. That's the problem that people were solving with it, right? But what I've noticed is that when I was using that modality, I originally was a wrestler, then I switched, and then all the wrestlers started coming in and just beating me up, beating all the people I knew up. And I was like, there's something here. I started noticing that in 97, 98. Okay. I went into pro wrestling for another reason, stumbled on catch wrestling, realized nobody knew about it, realized this was a huge resource. This happens to be right when Sakuraba is blown up, cutting through the Gracies like I'd experienced only with just folk style wrestlers. These guys didn't even know submissions, and they were just dominant. So it really set something off in my mind, and I realized this is a huge, massive opportunity to help people like me, grapplers that want to be even better. We realized, oh shit, the early UFCs demonstrated, wow, this crazy idea of a guard and using it to set up submissions, that's brilliant. Love it. I mean, we've seen the fights, how it went. Awesome. But unfortunately, a lot of people just believed the marketing and stopped their research there. I kept going. I realized that these wrestlers were these really high level, not even high level, just guys who had committed to wrestling for years were superior. They were better. So I did not stick to the dogma. I went with it. And I started seriously trying to get everything I could. And my strategy always, since I was in college, is go to the number one. Go to the number one person that you can. And so I went to Mark Schultz and Wade Chalice originally. Those were the very first guys that I did a seminar with Scientific Wrestling. The very, very first guys. So the wrestling, the folk style and freestyle wrestling is intrinsic to what we do. Now, on top of that, I discovered that catch as catch can, the style that Sakuraba was doing, the style that I learned from Billy Robinson, again, who was number one, is number one, dude. Like, that's why I went to this guy. So I integrated that and worked it all. And now we've got this incredible curriculum that solves this problem for grapplers. H. Herrera's 5 on YouTube. Love your content. Thank you, my friend. Appreciate the comment. Anyway, so that is the problem that Scientific Wrestling solves. We make your grappling great by teaching you takedowns, submissions, reversals, control, these things that are taught in wrestling. Now, when I wrestled, I've always been tall and lanky. Always. I'm 6'2", almost, like very close to. I'm shrinking as I hit closer to 50. Remember, I had a lot of these fucking things. But I've always been tall and lanky, and there was very few wrestling coaches that I met coming up that could coach me. And so I abandoned it because I was like, well, okay, I like this shit. And when I get on the ground, I'm good, but nobody's teaching me how to do it the right way until I met Billy Robinson and Wade Chalice, who could coach me how to wrestle that way. And now by the time that I figured all that out, I was also in my mid 30s, right? So I launched Scientific Wrestling in 2003 when I was 30 years old, which by athlete standards, where your expiration dates are, depends on the person. But for me, I racked up some pretty bad injuries. And so I was out by 39. I was out from competing by 39, 2014. So that would be, no, I made it to 41 before I really stopped just really rolling it all, because of the carotid dissection mostly, and some other damage, nerve damage that I have at the cervical level from being crazy. So anyway, the point that I'm trying to make here is that if you want to be successful and you want to make an impact, you have to, first of all, take seriously this idea of solving problems. I talked about this yesterday when I was brief on this content, when I was brief on this topic, right? What I said was that, I'm going to make this a little brighter for you guys. What I said was that, like a garbage man, that solves a huge problem. Have you ever had like your garbage back up for a couple weeks, man? It's a huge problem that's solved. That means there's money in it. Does that make sense? Now, I'm not saying it's awesome. You know what else solves a big problem? Is accounting. Nobody wants to do accounting. Excuse me. Nobody wants to do accounting because it is boring as shit, dude. It is so boring. I have my master's degree in financial math. That's some boring shit. People don't go like, hey, when you're a kid, like, what do you want to be? They want to be like a fucking fireman, or they want to be an astronaut or some shit. They don't say I want to be an accountant, or I want to be a statistician or a financial mathematician or a quantitative analyst. But you get paid well because it's boring. Now, sometimes you can get paid well, like a fireman can get paid well, but it's because there's a barrier to entry, right? Not just anybody can go and be a fireman. You have to pass tests, and I mean, I guess you could be like a vigilante fireman. How come always the vigilantes seem to be solving the problems that police can't handle? Why don't they solve like putting out fires and stuff? That's kind of interesting. I don't know. In these superhuman tropes in stories. Anyway, you've got to learn how to solve problems. That is your first thing. I brought up a great guy yesterday, Harry Brown, author. He's passed away. He's written a bunch of great books. Probably the best one that I recommend is called How I Found Freedom in an Unfree World. It's really good. It's very, very good. So now I want to talk about this. Like, if you're going to, so let's separate mathematical problem solving from personal problem solving, right? If you're going to start on a path to personal problem solving, your first goal, in my opinion, is you need to be somebody who doesn't need help. That's your first job, okay? Is as a human, just developing and like scaling up and becoming more important, right? Is you, first of all, if you need help yourself, you're not in a position to help other people yet. Let me say that again. If you yourself, you need help, you're not in a position to help other people, by and large. This is the exact same reason when I fly a lot. When you're on a plane and they're giving you the safety spiel, they're telling you about your kids. They're like, put on your mask first, then mask your kids. Because if there's no oxygen in the cabin and you pass out, you're definitely not going to be able to help your kids. Get your oxygen and then get their oxygen. Do you understand? So the first thing is you have to be able to identify your own problems of living. You have to identify your own problems of living. And I deliberately kind of picked on Big Pharma in this post. I'm banned right now from my Instagram on Scientific Wrestling, which has 26,000 followers. So on my Instagram, I had to switch to my personal. My guess is because I'm just speaking facts. And Instagram is shitty with regards to free speech compared to something like Twitter now, where you can speak freely about things and not be censored. But I'm going to pick on it again at risk of getting shadow banned again on Instagram. And I'm going to pick on Big Pharma because, let's talk about this idea of self-help or of personal development, helping yourself first before you help other people. Well, how can I help other people if I have not solved my own problems? I am not denying that there are not problems of living but what I want to argue is that they are solvable. Let me say that again. There are lots of problems of living, and they are also solvable problems of living. However, you have to, again, look at like the opioid crisis. Is the method of solving the problem the right way? So you, first of all, when you're problem solving, you need to define the problem, right? This is crucial. Now, I'm giving you the good shit right now. This is like the real stuff, how you can make money, have a lasting impact in the world, have a legacy, and help. That's my mission personally. My personal mission is to help as many people as possible, as many people as I can, given that I only have so many empty boxes left. For those of you that just tuned in, I suggested that every single person right now, because we're getting to be at the end of the year, this is my life left box. Make 12 lines vertically, 12 lines across. That'll give you a box with 100. At the bottom of it, fill in from box 77 to 100. That's the actuarial life expectancy, at least for men. I think women are 80, if I'm not mistaken. You can look it up. So if you're a female and you're doing this, just leave empty, close out 20 boxes instead of 23. And then you box off your age. So you can see these white things are the time that I have left, right? And you have a similar box that you can make for yourself. But my point is that you have to be able to effectively define what the problem is if you ever do plan on solving it. So this is my problem with something like Big Pharma. Are they actually solving your illness? Does the medical industry in the United States, by and large, solve your medical problem? Or, meaning cure you, or do they instead practice symptom management? Those are two different things, okay? Because curing you means you're done. Means, hey, awesome, I took this pill and I'm no longer sad. But unfortunately, that's not what happens. You take the fucking pill and you're hooked on the pill. And in fact, when you try to get off the pill, it causes such harm to your chemical system. It's unbelievable. I'm talking about antidepressants. Okay. It's not a solution. It's symptom management, and it's a shitty one. I'm just telling you, they don't work the way that, and I know I'm standing in the face of the entire pharmaceutical industry because there's so much money in it, but it doesn't fucking work. What works is getting control of your mind, sleeping well, exercising, proper nutrition, proper gut biome, and being philosophical about your life, trying to constantly improve and learn and challenge yourself. That would get rid of all the problems that these antidepressants, but they don't solve them. People get on an antidepressant, and now they're a monthly cash flow for pharmaceutical companies for decades. Do you understand? It's not solving a problem. It's telling you it's solving a problem, but it's snake oil. It's not solving your problem. Okay. In addition, you have to look at all the side effects, in particular, the violent side effects. You know, I saw a meme the other day, and it was, all these high school kids practicing shooting. And that even when I grew up in a small town called Buena Vista, Colorado. There was only 2,000 people in the town, up in the middle of the mountains, hunting. All that was a big part of the lifestyle. I had my hunter safety license by the time I was 10, had my own motorcycle when I was 10. What changed? What changed? Why is everybody all freaked out about this shit now? What changed? Oh, is it the culture, or is it the fact that everybody's on these fucking stupid ass drugs that have massive violent side effects? Just type in violent side effects on medication, dude. Just type it in. And then look at all the people who are doing these mass shootings. I fucking guarantee you they're on these fucking drugs that have violent side effects. And then you're blaming the guns. You're not solving the fucking problem. Does this make sense? So you have to make sure that the problem itself is well defined. Well defined. This is why problem-solving language, which is traditionally math and or computer code And I will also offer legal language. Every single one of those types of language are very, very specific, clear. There's no vagaries. There's no uh, um, misconstrual of the words or of the symbols. They mean something very specific. Okay. That is well defining something, creating a very sharp boundary about what it is so you can work with it. That is your number one goal, is making sure that the problem is well defined. Does that make sense? So identify the problem. What is it that you're trying to solve? So with scientific wrestling, I was trying to solve this problem of, hey, there is a massive hole in the traditional grappling, modern grappling game presented by the jiu-jitsu methods. And it is being massively exploited by these wrestlers, and not just folk style freestyle wrestlers who are dominant in MMA, but is also being massively exploited by these catch can wrestlers who folk style freestyle is actually derivative of. So let me go and present that to the world. So that business has taken me around the world, touring, writing 2 best-selling books. There is clearly a problem that people want solved there. This is what I'm saying to you. Now, you could be a trash man. That it solves a fucking huge problem, dude. I guarantee you, man. Don't have somebody pick up your trash for a month. You will realize how fucking important that job is. Or a plumber. When your toilet's backing up and the shit's flowing into your fucking house. Okay? You're going to realize how important maybe these jobs that you look down your nose, that they're absolutely crucial and people can get paid very, very well. Call a plumber on a Sunday at 1 a.m. You'll see how well paid these guys are because they're solving a problem. Now, the problem which you solve, that is up to you. What I would recommend is, I'm a guy that believes in coaching to somebody's strengths. So whether I'm coaching you in grappling or I'm coaching you in business, I'm not going to coach you to do the thing that you're the shittiest at. That's what I learned the hard way. Wasted so much of my time, so many of these fucking X's with these wrestling coaches trying to teach me how to shoot a fucking double. Well, that's stupid. I'm taller than like 95% of these guys. I can't get under them because distance equals rate times time. The more distance there is, the longer rate. So guys that are shorter can drop, and there's a shorter distance, meaning a shorter time. I don't even know if any of this makes any sense to you guys, if I'm just rambling. But my point is I wasted so much time with bad coaches who were trying to coach to my weaknesses. Does that make sense? So I realized as I started studying these guys who are number one, that really affect the world in a big way, which then allowed me to start affecting the world in a big way, was to start coaching or start managing to people's strengths, including your own. Okay. So I know that I am a very passionate person. I'm a very clever person. These are things I know about myself. Okay. That's where I've put myself into a position because that's where I could succeed. I'm pretty dominant. And so these are positions where I know that I can succeed. Instead of trying to put myself in positions, which I did do. Not only did I do that with wrestling until I figured out and started getting coached by guys that coached to my strengths, took the time to figure out me so I could accelerate. That's why I call my camp an accelerator camp for wrestling. And my business training is accelerated because I lean into what you're good at. If you go to no1coaching.com, let me see if I can throw that up on the screen for at least the guys on YouTube and Facebook and Instagram. LinkedIn. Sorry, Instagram, you don't get it. But just No1 Coaching like this, no1coaching.com. You'll see all the crazy testimonials over years from world record holders, from gold medalists, Olympics, testimonials for how I helped them because I managed to their strengths. Okay. So if you want to figure out what do I do to problem solve? First, figure out what you're good at in terms of problem solving. So a lot of you guys I have because of the grappling. Maybe you're really great at grappling and that's why you want to coach. And that's how you're going to make your impact in the world. Awesome. I feel you. I've been there. I'm ahead of you probably because I'm old and I've been doing it forever. And despite all that, I still am learning. This is another thing, especially Billy Robinson, I really took to heart. That guy was learning until the day he died. He was constantly absorbing information and trying to improve himself. Okay. Like I said, you can't help anybody unless you can help yourself first. And you need to be real about that. So you need to look at the problems of living that you are having yourself, and you need to fucking get that shit handled. And stop wasting fucking time. Pardon my language, but I'm trying to help you here. Stop wasting time. Try to get a realistic assessment of yourself. Now, so let me tell you, like in business, one of the things I realized is I was like, okay, I went the wrong way. Yeah, I have a master's degree in math. Yeah, I worked as a statistician. Yeah, I worked at the highest levels of investment banking and mortgage banking as a quant. I fucking hated it because I am not a math guy. My undergraduate's in English. I proved to myself that I could do it. I put myself a massive challenge, okay? Do you guys understand how big this challenge and the challenges I set before myself in my life? I've overcome fucking cancer. I've overcome iatrogenic harm. I mean, medical malpractice on the health side. I've overcome mental problems when I was a young man, right? Overcame this hang up I had about math because I realized what I was telling you about the trash man and the accountant. Nobody could do this really advanced financial mathematics degree. Very few people had this degree at the graduate level, not at undergraduate, at the graduate level. And I was like, well, I'm going to make some money. And I fucking did, but I hated it. I hated it. And so I realized, okay, I'm clever. I'm super driven. I fucking work like a motherfucker. And I'm clever. So what would behoove me? Those traits, I was real about my strengths, and my weaknesses were I don't like to be detail oriented. I don't. I could do it, but it's like fucking pulling teeth, dude. I don't enjoy it. Now, some people do, right? If you've ever taken these psychological assessments like DISC, have you ever heard of that? It's actually, it was created by the creator of Wonder Woman. I can't remember, what was his name? Marsden or whatever. Anyway, it's based off of a lot of Carl Jung's ideas as well. It's a fascinating assessment. But I was in a group that was like the conscientious group, a C, which is like analysts. That's not my personality. Whenever I take those personalities, I'm off the charts D. I'm a huge D, which is dominant. I get out there. I'm not afraid. I'll get up and speak to 1 million people. Do it. If you've got the audience, let me know. I will get up there and I will give one fucking hell of a goddamn good talk. I could do that. I have no fear. I had a radio show. I get up and speak in front of thousands of people all the time. I have no problem with that at all. Clearly, look, I just bullshit forever. And I could clean it up too. Trust me, if I have to speak to a religious organization or something. But my point is that I had to start going to where my strengths were. I am one hell of a good coach. I'm a great coach. Like I said, go to No1 Coaching, go to Scientific Wrestling, look at the testimonials, go to my business page on Google for No1 Coaching, look at the testimonials. Like, dude, that is my strength. That's what you have to do. What you have to be honest, not what you want to be good at. I wanted to be good at financial math because I realized the money. And I learned some stuff that I use to this day. But dude, I don't want anything to do with fucking spreadsheets if I can avoid it. I don't want to be coding if I can avoid it. I don't enjoy it. I hate it. I fucking hate it. But I did it and I could do it. And I proved to myself I could do it. That was a huge win for me. This is how you become confident, is you challenge yourself and you accomplish it. Now, granted, that was a waste of about 5 of these boxes, 5 or 6. Let's even say 10, because I did it from pretty much 97 to 2007. So I wish that I would have stumbled on some mentors earlier to help me find my path. So anyway, now What am I good at? I am fucking really good at sales and marketing, at business development. I'm really fucking good at it. I've done it like over and over and over and over and over and over and over for myself, for others, my wife. I mean, fucking like over and over. Pin Up for Pups. I came up with that with my wife. It was to help her. We got on reality TV shows, had calendars with fucking a bunch of celebrities and stuff. Crazy. Lots of times I've done that. But it only had the Mace Bell. Like I created all like these massive ripples through the world because I went to my strengths. Okay. So that's your first thing. What are you going to be good at problem solving? What are you going to be good at problem solving? That's what you have to figure out. Yeah. Marco's saying Dr. Rome and the DISC. Yeah, the DISC assessment's huge. I can hook you up with that. My company, No1 Coaching, does that. Not only do we do DISC, which is it not only tells you about yourself, but there's this other function when you're within a group and everybody else does the DISC. They have this thing called Catalyst that takes everybody's DISC assessments and places them on a grid and shows the proper way for them to communicate so that the organization works. It's massive. It's a wonderful, wonderful tool. And in addition, they have this other new technology that is legally defensible when you are hiring people. They're actually personality tests you could take to make sure if this person's actually good for the role. So let's say you're hiring somebody for a sales job. You give them this PX, it's called PXT. And if you give them the assessment, it bounces against all the other people who've actually been successful in that sales role, and their personality type, and then says, well, this person is a perfect fit for that role, that personality type based on the success of other people, how they've taken it or not. It's amazing. Amazing shit for like what I do in terms of trying to help people improve their companies and their business teams. Right. So if you're interested in that, let me know. It'll fucking change the whole way you do business. It's really cool. Anyway. So you have to identify the problem. You have to define the problem. So, and I think that's part and parcel of the same problem. Okay. So part of it is going to be having the self-awareness of what you're good at. Like, what can you do? Okay. Now, your first step, this is why I call my company No1, and it's been very successful for me as a method, is you solve the problem after you have identified it by trying to find if somebody has solved that problem before. Okay, they call that problem solving by analogy. So let's look at scientific wrestling. I realized there were these holes in the grappling game. I had a buddy of mine, Alex, out in Venice Beach. Cheers to Alex. I hope you're doing well, Alex and Edison. They do the Venice Paparazzi. They're a photography company out in Venice. Fantastic human beings, really good friends. Anyway, Alex and I were messing around. We used to wrestle all the time in Venice, and he got me in a cradle, and I was like, God damn it, that was embarrassing. And so I took note, though. Instead of just losing, I took note, and I was like, I'm gonna learn everything I can. That's when I hired Wade Shouse. Do you understand? So I got confronted with a problem that I couldn't solve. And the first thing I did was I went and saw, hey, D-Mac, good to see you, bro. I appreciate you jumping on, man. Happy holidays to you, sir. I went and I found somebody who had already solved the problem better than I could. Wade was already the Guinness World Record holder for the most pins and wins in all of wrestling, the most wins over international champions, most wins over national champions, 5-sport, combat sport All-American. I was like, okay, let me just fucking listen to this guy instead of being bullheaded and really absorb what he has to say. So that was problem solving by analogy. This is the same thing I did when looking at Sakuraba. I was like, holy shit, this guy's just smoking all this jiu-jitsu guys. And these are like supposed to be the greatest of all time. Fucking, in my opinion, Hickson ducked him because he would have like publicly made him look bad. And I understand that. I'm just saying that's my opinion. Like, I think it's true. Anyway, so I went and I looked. I'm like, dude, this guy's already solved this problem. Let me figure out how he figured it out. Does that make sense? So identify the problem, try to figure it out, get well-defined, really spend time making sure that your problem is well-defined so that you can find a specific solution. Next, go research. See if somebody else has already done it, right? The next method is to crowdsource, to brainstorm, like figure it out with people. Post something. Go to jasper.ai, ask it the question, see if it comes with it. That's the brainstorming thing, right? Now, after all that, and you gather all this data, now you want to start sifting through it with the best you can using maybe the laws of informal logic. I talked about that in my mental self-defense broadcast. Go back and look at the archives. Go to No1 Ninja. You can go back and look at the archives there on YouTube or wherever you listen on Spotify. But go through the informal fallacies of logic, then start going through formal logic, then start understanding inductive reasoning. So this is like critical thinking. I know I'm kind of blasting through these quickly, right? But once you have that, now start again, you have to know yourself. What are your strengths? And start attacking the problem with your strengths first. Exhaust all that before you start working on the stuff where you're weak. So you understand, now you got a plan of attack. You start going how you're strong. And you can do hypothesis testing. Okay, let me test this. And then see that hypothesis doesn't work. Does it affirm the null hypothesis and all this kind of stuff? Okay. You could try trial and error. Good old, which is very similar. You just keep trying, right? So that is going to make you valuable in this world. More value, then because you're solving other people's pain points. They use this in sales. So here's a perfect example. I'm fucking going to be 50, and it took me this long to figure out I am fucking really good at sales and marketing. Sure, I've got all these other accolades from being a great entrepreneur to the highest levels in academic finance, and all that shit. But I'm good at sales and marketing because I don't know, man, I'm good at it. So it took me a long time to learn that. That's why I have sat at the feet, like I sat at the feet of Billy Robinson, sat at the feet of Wade Chalice. Now I'm sitting at the feet of guys like Grant Cardone, and in business development, Brandon Dawson, and a number of other guys. Does that make sense? So I hope this helps you, okay? But first of all, you got to make sure there are problems in life, but make sure that you're actually solving them problems and not just kicking the can down the road. You've got to be able to help yourself first before you help anybody else, okay? Once you get that covered, go figure out what you're good at, what problems you're good at solving. Maybe you are good at math problems or accounting problems or software development problems. Friggin' awesome. You're going to make a lot of money because you need to figure out what you actually are and then commit to it and get even better at it, because there's going to be other people in that group and you want to be able to be the one people choose because you're the best. Number one, right? Then you have to make sure that when you get to that problem, that you identify the proper problem, you define it super well, you go research, see if anybody else has actually already solved the problem. We live in this amazing time where the entirety of human knowledge is at your fucking fingertips at all times, as long as you got a charged phone and access to the internet. And then start brainstorming, crowdsourcing, figure out how you can get as much information about the problem as possible. And then start sifting through the data, the methods, and start trial and error, play with as many methods as you can to solve the problem. And you'll soon start solving problems. And when you start solving those problems, you're going to start having a lot of confidence in yourself as a problem solver in that area. So I have no problem. Like when it comes to like debating libertarian stuff, bring it. I'll debate with anybody because I'm confident. I had a two-way talk radio show for 3 years where everybody could call me in, and I had big names on there and debated with law degrees and I proved to myself and in front of large crowds of people that I'm very good at debate. Awesome. Okay. I also, when it comes to medical harm, because had it happen to me and I wanted to make sure it never happens to me again, right? Help yourself first. Then I started helping other people by writing books. My 2009 book, Anomaly, 2009, man. That shit's like 13 years old now, 14 years old. And you can go to mentalselfdefense.com. The article, I ripped it out so you guys could read it for free on learned helplessness and medical fascism. And here we are 14 years later. So do you understand? Like, if you get really good and confident in your problem solving, man, you could be so far ahead of the curve. It's not even funny. It's like, it almost looks prophetic. I'm not psychic. I'm not a prophet. I'm just like, I know my shit through problem solving. Fair? Grappling, it's a passion of mine. So I went and solved that problem. Like scientific wrestling, sure. Everybody, like, I don't even call it catch wrestling because what we do at scientific wrestling is not just catch wrestling. Catch wrestling is a very large part of what we do. And it's not just any catch wrestling. It's Billy Robinson, Carl Gotch, catch wrestling. So again, number one, okay, not just rando bullshit somebody saw on the internet and I'm the greatest kid. No, we're scientific wrestling. So number one in catch is catch can. Number one for real. Number one in folk style because of our relationship and Wade Chalice being integral to us. Okay. So folk style, catch as catch can. Several of our full coaches are jiu-jitsu black belts. So we don't teach it, but you're damn right. We know their methods and how to counter wrestle it. So when I started pushing the term hybrid grappling, I actually kind of picked it up from Gil Olivas, one of our full coaches. He was calling his stuff hybrid grappling. And then another one of our assistant coaches, soon to be full coach, hopefully, Dave Petrone, the guy doing all the great stuff with pinning and cradles in particular in grappling. Anyway, long story short, hybrid grappling is really what we do. I think Petrone was calling hybrid submission grappling. I was like, okay, that's a little too much, but you're getting in the right ballpark. I love the hybrid word because it's an homage to Pancrase, which predates UFC by a month. Okay. Pancrase, Minoru Suzuki, who I just had lunch with a couple months ago, which was awesome. But anyway, hybrid. We have our stand-up is largely Greco-Roman from Billy and Wade. Wade's an all-American Greco-Roman and judo. Okay, so hybrid. Folk style, pinning, control, takedowns, escapes, and reversals. Catches, catch can. Takedowns, control, escapes, reversals, submissions. Make sense? So figure out very specifically what problem you could solve, learn the steps of problem solving, and go to town. Commit. Go as hard as you can with it. Does that make sense? All right. So I've been bullshitting on this. I wanted to touch this topic because I literally gave it 10 minutes yesterday. I probably shouldn't even have jumped on, but I wanted to just connect with you guys and know that, like I said, I don't like the pretense of thinking like professor or guru or any of that shit. I'm not that. I'm a problem solver and I'm a good one and I'm here to help you. And I'm expensive, but I will solve your freaking problem. Guaranteed. You'll have the best ROI when I solve your problem. It's just, dude, I was solving problems for big investment banks. Dude, they were paying me a fuck ton of money. So, and I've got responsibilities. I got 3 kids. They got college, cars, orthodontics, private school, 5-bedroom house in an expensive zip code. So anyway, here's the deal, man. If you have questions, DM me. Okay. You can ping me here. I do it for free. You're not going to get much fucking in depth here. Okay. But I will help you. You can ask me when I jump on here. It's like office hours, I say. Any of that stuff. You got it? So DM me. It's not hard to get a hold of me. You can go to scientificwrestling.com, No1coaching.com, Twitter at Jake Shannon. I'm spending a lot more time on Twitter. I think I only have like 6,200 followers there. I'd really appreciate it if you jump on and get those numbers up. Because again, my goal in my life is to help as many people as possible in my two domains of expertise: grappling, scientific wrestling, and business coaching, No1 coaching. So I am here to help you, and I will help you. And you can go look at the testimonials from beginners to highly advanced people. I can do it. So anyway, I appreciate you guys. You guys have a very fantastic Christmas Eve. Can't believe it, man. 2023 coming up. It's going to be a killer year. Killer year. I know it is for me. You guys need to understand. Hey, Marco, good to see you, bro. Merry Christmas. I'm excited to see you in 2023. You guys, participation in the recession is optional. Turn off the fucking news. Go read some books on improving yourself, on developing yourself, on being a better problem solver, being the real painkiller. Cartius Maximus. Cartius Maximus. Merry Christmas, dude. Happy to see you. So guys, be the painkiller. Don't take painkillers. Get people off painkillers and put them on your painkillers. Maybe they don't need anti-anxiety meds. Maybe they need to get their shit done. Maybe they need to be held accountable. Maybe they need to have higher goals so they can have fucking more respect for themselves. Maybe they're not depressed. Be a better problem solver. Be a better painkiller than Big Pharma. All these fucking shots that got rolled out and have all these awful side effects. The real problem solver for COVID was vitamin D, exercise. The people who were fit and in shape had no problem. Eating right, not drinking, not fucking up your immune system with too much meth or whatever the fuck dumb shit. Be a better painkiller. Solve problems. All right. You guys have a Merry Christmas. I hope you guys were able to afford to get your family and friends and your kids everything that you wanted to get them. If you didn't, that's on you. That's on you, dude. I'll help you, but you can't bullshit, man. If you couldn't get your kid the computer that they liked, if you couldn't get them whatever because it was too expensive, don't blame the recession. Blame your fucking self. That's the only way you're going to fix that problem. I'll help you. Anyway, Merry Christmas. Oh, Cardius Maximus says, good to see you on here too. You're an inspiration. Thanks, brother. Appreciate that, man. Let's go. Hopefully I inspired you. Let's make some money. Let's solve some real fucking problems. Be a real painkiller, not some fucking fentanyl bullshit that's reducing everybody's life expectancy. Remember, do this. 12 lines by 12 lines. It'll give you a box with 100. Scratch off from 77 on if you're a dude, 80 on. That tells you, and then all your birthdays. This tells you how many years you have left to make your impact. You better fucking hustle, bud. I've made my impact. My shit will outlast me. My contributions to grappling, my contributions to fitness with the Mace Bell, my contributions to writing. I've written like 15 books or something. All this stuff's going to outlast me. Just wait to see what I do with these last fucking 20, whatever, however many years I have, 27. Just wait, dude. Shit's about to get fucking real. I'm going to blow this up. Love to have your help. Anyway, you guys are awesome. Merry Christmas. And yeah, man, I'm not going to probably podcast tomorrow. Maybe I will. I don't know. Shit. Depends if I have time. But I will definitely be back next week. I'll have a lot of time because I'm working my ass off, but everybody else is fucking taking it off. So Cartius, yeah, man. what you need to do is you need to make an 11 and take a piece of paper, make 12 lines vertical, 12 lines across. Now, actuarial tables put your life expectancy at 77. So take from box 77 on, they actually reduced it to 76. So take all those out to where you only have 77 boxes up here. See these clear ones? I took out, after you die. And then I put up here the number of birthdays. I've had 49. So there I am right now. And this is supposedly the last one. I have a feeling I'll last longer than 77 because of my health. I'm very, very focused on it. So, but freak accidents can happen. Who knows? Who knows what can happen? So 77 is the best guess that actuaries make. So anyway, it says I have 27 years left. It's what you need to be focused on. Thanks, guy. I'll talk to you soon.